Final recap. Why do we need a recap when you just said a bunch of bullshit for 26 minutes? We don't need a recap, dummy.
Orthobro side. So terrible week for Orthobros online. Huge miscalculations on their part.
Nobody made a miscalculation except you, dummy. All right, let's speed this up. I can't listen to this retard talking normal. Playback.
Partnering with the Dowell guys and flip-flopping and supporting God Logic, going after everybody and calling everybody grifters, intentionally using clips out of context of me from a month ago. And what do you think is going to happen? People are going to
Yeah, but they weren't out of context. Let's play it again. Here's what you actually said, dummy.
A long time lingereth not.
I like shoes and I like money. And you got to figure out what is your product going to be? What can you sell people? That's the actual question, right? So we could pussyfoot around and we could say, oh, like I want to have a ministry and I want to do this and I want to do that, right? But what we're really asking is like, how do I build a business? I don't really care about how many followers I have. I need those metrics to an extent for the credibility of them, but I'm more thinking, what is my bank account going to look like in the next 2 to 3 years?
So this is the guy saying, I wasn't preaching business church. All I was talking about was helping Christian rappers not have starving children's, right? Look, there's a lot of baby mamas. There's a lot of single daddy Christian rappers. You want their kids to go homeless and not have food in their bellies? Yo, Ortho Bros is mean, bro. That's all I was trying to do. I was trying to feed the kids, dude.
I think there's other issues with the Oriental Orthodox claiming to be the one true church and the true Orthodox claiming to be the one true church. And you got billionaire patriarchs who have said stuff like,
yeah, you haven't proven that that's actually true. You're just citing New York Times articles, dummy. By the way, these people are so low tier that they actually think that if there's multiple people claiming to be the one true church, that is somehow an argument against the one true church. This is so stupid. That'd be like if multiple people don't think 2 + 2 is 4, then we don't know if 2 + 2 is 4. That's how stupid this is. That's why this guy doesn't want to have a formal debate and constantly says, yo, I don't care about the logics. What you want to logics me, bro?
all Muslims and Christians worship the same creator God. Sounds a lot like Vatican II, okay? And all this stuff is being waved away. Why? Because I think my prediction is this is only going to create more and more divisions within the Eastern Orthodox community because you're adding...
Wait, what does Vatican II have to do with this? Oh, he's talking about because Kirill has made if Bartholomew makes an ecumenical statement, by the way, does he not realize that the Russian Patriarchate just put out a statement that Christians and Muslims don't worship the same God? I mean, that was literally stated last week, and he's acting like that didn't happen. But also, it doesn't matter if there's a patriarch who's a heretic, dummy.
Microscope and unnecessary scrutiny from constantly attacking Protestants. And we were like, man, you guys do you. But I think it's crossed a threshold and it's only going to get worse. And I'm here. I'm here to watch and enjoy and eventually have some conversations, signal boost some of this stuff. That doesn't mean that I think my Eastern Orthodox friends are not Christians.
But wait a minute, because you are saying that the only dogma that you can't be unfolding about or unbending about is if you have an exclusivist church. That's what y'all are saying on your streams. That's what God Logic just said. So that's not true.
That's not my position. And that's not the normative Protestant position. What that means is, hey, if you're...
There is no normative Protestant position, you idiot.
Going to be hypercritical.
He doesn't even know. I guarantee he doesn't know what normative means. He thinks it just is the normal. I bet he thinks normative is normal, like majority. That's not what normative means, you retard.
If you're going to have this hypercritical spirit about everything and everyone, guess what? There's going to be people that are...
Dude, nobody is having a hypercritical spirit about everything and everyone. It's specifically the error of saying that it doesn't matter what church you go to. It's very specific. And he keeps lying throughout this video.
Gonna want to match that. There's gonna be people like David Wood that are gonna say, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm happy for people to match it. We've been asking forever for people to match it. And David Wood would not do a formal debate with me on the topic. He already declined. None of your gay crew will do a public formal debate with me on this topic. God Logic won't. IP won't. Gavin Ortland won't. Right? Wes Huff won't. You won't. You already said you would 4 times and then said, but he got to repent to me publicly before I do it.
I'm going to sit and I'm going to learn from your guys' best sources. I'm going to learn from the other best.
Wait a minute. How are you going to sit and learn when you just said a minute ago, we don't have evidence in the primary sources? but you're going to sit and learn. So you don't actually know whether we have evidence in the primary sources, you retard?
Sources, and we're going to examine and we're going to have this one true church debate. And I think it's good. I think it's fine.
Yeah, right. Who's going to have that? When and where? I won't hold my breath.
Okay. And then Protestants have to look at the same information and say, hey, yeah, what we're doing is a retrieval method. We're trying to retrieve the original 100 years of the church post.
Oh, so now he's a restorationist. This retard doesn't even know what he's arguing for. Now he's a restorationist, that Protestants are retrieving the original first 100 years of the church. How are you going to retrieve the first 100 years of the church when you don't even have the Bible yet, dummy? There was no completed canon in the first 100 years of the church. So obviously they weren't sola scriptura. In the first 100 years, dummy, they're still writing the Bible.
The ascension of Jesus. What was that church like? And what was their values? And how did...
So the book of Acts, dummy? You mean where they have synods and where they have episcopacy?
They gather. And by the way, I don't think either church looks like the way the early church looked. For the record, I don't think they...
Nobody gives a shit what you think. You just admitted that you got to learn from the people on the topic. So you admitted you don't actually know. So who gives a shit what you think, dummy?
Saying rock and roll CCM songs? No.
Do you think it was rap church? Do you think the first century church was fucking rap church, mate? I'm off a Shelby. This man's a bloody retard. And you heard it first from the Peaky Blinders.
Okay, so I don't think it looks like my church. And I also don't think they
Hold on. You don't think it looks like rap church? So this retard just admitted rap church isn't the first century church.
Saying rock and roll, the ascension of Jesus. What was that church like? And what was their values? And how did they gather? And by the way, I don't think either church looks like the way the early church looked. For the record, I don't think they sang rock and roll CCM songs.
Then they didn't sing rap songs, dummy. Then rhythm church, rap church is not the church of the first century. You retard. You just admitted that your church is fake. Good job, dummy.
Okay, so I don't think it looks like my church. And I also don't think
I don't think it looks like my church. Ruslan is admitting the early church, which he wants to be the model for this debate, wasn't rap church. Shocker, it wasn't rap church. But what a fucking retard. This is the stupidest man on the internet. There's nobody dumber than this retard. And how many of y'all people got duped by this idiot? He's supposed to be, he can't even do a rap beef in response. All he does is bitch and whine and run to the feminists on Twitter to try to back him up.
They were...
By the way, I'm absolutely convinced that there is no way this dude was actually a gangster. Who actually believes that bullshit? This dude probably stole a pack of now and laters. He stole a pack of now and laters off the principal's desk and got detention from it. Yo, I was a gangster when I was young, son.
Wizard outfits and had incense and
wizard outfits. So he thinks liturgical vestments are wizard outfits. You retard. That means the Old Testament is a bunch of wizards. You just undid your own Old Testament religion. That means the synagogue that you send people to, they're wearing wizard outfits. You retard. You are the stupidest person on the internet. Look at this dude. This is where he sends people to get circumcised, to this fake ass messianic synagogue. He's wearing liturgical, rabbinical vestment outfits. So Old Testament Levites were wizards, dummy. This dude is unbelievably stupid.
Everywhere, and had beautiful art everywhere. I think they may have used...
Yeah, the church being persecuted is not going to have giant cathedrals, retard.
Used art and seemingly had some art.
But now he's moved the goalpost. Remember a minute ago he said, you need to prove evidence from the primary sources that they had art and that they had imagery. And there might be some of that. They do got some of that, but you got to prove it's in the Bible. So he moves, this dude is so dumb.
I also think that they had very simple gatherings around the gospel.
Yeah, we don't care what you think. And there's already been scholars that have disproven the house church model. Like the house church, you think is a low church because it says a house. Yo, that was a prayer meeting, bro. That was a prayer meeting at Lecrae's house where we did a circumcision on little Don. We took him in the bathroom and did a circumcision. Improv circumcision, yo. That's what house church means, dog.
So those are my thoughts. I think everybody at the end of the day is looking for the truth. And I think if you're going to look for the truth, you
just admitted it's not rap church, you dummy. You literally just said my church isn't the early church.
To be logically consistent, and they're just not. Their arguments are...
Wait a minute. A minute ago, you said it's not going to be proven by logic and reasoning. You literally said that 2 minutes ago. He said it's a faith issue. It's not logic. But now it's we're not logically consistent? Dude, you can't go 5 minutes without contradicting yourself, dummy.
Not logically consistent. They can nuance it to death. They can word salad it to death. And now
I actually think Ruslan is so dumb that he actually thinks logical argumentation is fancy words. He's at that level. Like he thinks that that's what logic is like, you know, silver tongue car salesman talk. That's what logic is. Yo, logics is like when you got a bunch of like, you know, fast talking and like fancy words and shit like out of the dictionary I ain't never even heard of, bro. Yo, that ain't how I roll, dog. I roll by heart and faith.
this is going to be scrutinized because they decided to pick this fight. And now you have
No, you retard. You baited everybody with your dumb idea to put a catechumen against two people. It was called debate across the internet. And then you backtracked when you got mild pushback and had a meltdown and admitted that you were wrong. You already admitted that you're the source of all this. So yeah, we're happy to pick a fight now. And guess what? We won't stop coming. It ain't going to stop. I'm going to be making fun of you for the next 10 years, dummy.
Andrew Wilson scrambling, trying to hop into debate, which by the way, Andrew Wilson's stuff generally against leftists, I think has been good. And I've
noticed Ruslan lied too and said that Andrew Wilson only repeats red pill talking points. And then when Andrew showed from Grok that Andrew consistently doesn't repeat the red pill talking points about don't get married, etc., Ruslan blocked him. So Ruslan is a legit 100% pathological liar.
Celebrated it, and I've championed his moves in those regards. I think his language and his mouth and his demeanor and his smugness is.
Here we go. Smoking man bad, right? But you just said a cuss word a couple years ago, you retard. Yo, I've apologized for the F word. And look, I'm in a new studio. I got some new drip. He actually said that. He said, I'm in a new studio and I got different clothes. What the fuck does that have to do with whether you said the F word, dummy?
Generally unbecoming of anyone that's a Christian, lacking fruit.
Yeah, but here we go. Smoke man bad, 4-letter word. Okay. So let's say for the sake of argument that that's true. I don't even buy that it is, but how come you didn't call out Gavin Ortland's gay church? Where were you on that? That's 10 times worse than anything Ortho Bros are doing. And by the way, Ortho Bros are bad for rage bait. He just did a lame ass rage bait in his video, which we all just laughed at. I thought rage bait was bad behavior on the internet, retard.
The spirit in these sorts of conversations. But if this is what they want, well, guess what? There's gonna be a bunch of people that do it.
No, let's do it. Let's go. This war will never stop. In fact, we'll ramp it up. I'll do streams every day.
And there's gonna be a bunch of people that go there with them. I'm not gonna keep talking about this because I don't want to bring more attention.
Who is even gonna go? He's flexing David Wood as if David Wood is some like we're scared of David Wood. I already asked David Wood to do a formal debate and he wouldn't do it. David Wood just learned 2 days ago what the Orthodox positions are on basics. David Wood can't say if he believes the Reformation solas. You think he's your ace in the hole? You are a legit moron.
To unnecessary drama with this regard because I think this is only casting more and more division. But this is my video on it for the month.
Yeah, but we're not in league with you. We're already divided against you. So what you talking about cast creating more division?
And I probably won't talk about it for a while after.
But you want to start a war, but you're above talking about it. He wants to go at a war and he wants to have that war, but he's not going to talk about it for a while. Dude, I swear Ruslan is somebody should go through this video and every minute to 2 minutes, there is a backtracking of the thing he said 2 to 3 minutes earlier. That's all he ever does. Every statement is backtracked and contradicted within 3 to 4 minutes within the freaking video. Unbelievable. And this is the same dude who said 4 times he would debate me and then backed out because I'm too mean. And I must publicly repent to him. So he actually does believe in oral confession. It's just to the God Ruslan, right?
As much as they want to debate me into a friendly chat over nonsense, I'm going to just...
Wait a minute. How is it nonsense when you just said you're about to go on the offensive and you're going to have these battles, but you won't debate even though you said you will, but also it's nonsense. So if it's nonsense, why are you going to war over it?
Engage because honestly, I've been traveling a lot. I'm busy. I got others.
Yeah. Notice Ruslan's tour, his tour we saw on his website, 2 cities. There's 2 cities. He's so busy, dog. I'm on tour. I ain't got time to mess with you. I ain't got time for you, son. I said, how about a 5-minute conversation? This before all this blew up. I ain't got time for you, son. I'm on tour. Oh, 2 cities? 2 cities on his website. That's a the tour, dog. I'm on tour, son. Yo, this is like Smoking Grooves tour, right? 1990. We got like 50, well, maybe not 50, more like 3 locations that we're doing, you know what I'm saying?
Stuff I'm working on. But again, at some point, I will have one of these conversations. At some point, we'll keep having these conversations with Eastern Orthodox. But I really don't think they understand how fallacious some of the logic is. And
wait a minute, Ruslan, you just said a minute ago, logic doesn't matter, and you don't care about logical argumentations. And now you're back to, yo, you fallacious and full of logics, bro. And I'm gonna show you, you ain't got no logics, bro. I'm gonna show you, you got no logics.
And now that energy is being matched, they're, we're the victims. How dare you?
Ain't nobody saying we're victims. We love it. That's why we're ready to formally debate, dummy. And ain't nobody on your side I guarantee you. How do you think people have been studying this stuff for 20, 25 years? How do you think David Wood, who just learned about it yesterday, is gonna do well? Are you this stupid? This whole stream is a facade of fear. You can tell he's scared about this. That's why at the end of it, he's backtracking, being like, I'm gonna go to war, but also I'm not gonna do it because I'm above it all. I'm above it all. But you want war, you got it. But also I'm not gonna do it because I'm above it. But also logic don't matter. But I'm gonna show you, you fallacious.
You? How dare you? How dare you point out that, man, optically we have an issue? How dare you? And so those are my thoughts.
No, everybody is saying you got the bad optics, dude. On our side, all you have is whining and bitching about pearl clutch. All you had is pearl clutch this whole time, dummy.
On this sort of stuff, I want to know what you guys think about this. Like, are you actually considering how bad of a week this was for Orthobros?
Yeah, nobody thinks that. That's why everybody is laughing at how ridiculous David Wood has been exposed, because David Wood, after 20 years, can't say what his basic positions are. That's retarded. David Wood got exposed.
Bad of a week this was for, you got revenge and you got all kinds of nonsense.
There was no revenge corn. You're lying again.
Like, this is really bad. Now, again, the rest of the Eastern Orthodox community gets to decide on if we're going to be complicit in this by being silent about some of this stuff. And
here he goes again. Here's his call to cancellation. He did this on the last video. This piece of shit is so dishonest that his only move is to try to get other Orthodox clergy to cancel anybody in our sphere. Meanwhile, he's not man enough to actually do a formal debate after he said he would do it 4 times and backed out. What a piece of garbage, dude. This dude is way 10 times more snaky than I ever thought he was. I regret even going on his podcast.
So proud of the Eastern Orthodox that have stepped out and said, nah, this is wrong. Like, revenge porn is terrible. You can't do
it. Wasn't revenge porn, you retard. What are you talking about?
Do this. This is not how we behave. I'm pumped for those priests that have spoken out about this sort of stuff, but man, there's a lot of coddling, and man, there's a lot of pragmaticism. Hey, these people get people to church, so
pragmatism? Pragmatism? The fuck are you talking? You don't even know the words you're saying, you word salad retard. This dude's trying to do word salad. He doesn't even do pragmatism. Pragmatism? What are you talking about?
Everything else they do, we're not going to speak out against it because we want to keep a unified Eastern Orthodox face. That sounds a lot like the Dawa Bros.
Yeah, that's a fallacy of association. Again, doesn't know basic fallacies. Yo, that's a genetic fallacy, dummy. That sounds like what he said. That's the same as that dude.
Like a lot like Islam apologetics, right? And I've seen this before. I don't think it ends well. We saw what happened to the Red Pill movement. And
here we go. Ortho bros dangerous. Ortho's bad. Ortho's gonna create they might be violence, bro. Look out, something's coming, right? SPLC level talking points, same thing they always do. How many examples of actual ortho bro violence? 0, absolutely none. And yet, it's going to be bad for these dudes. Dark clouds is coming. So they're actually, in my opinion, doing the SPLC style talking point. He does it again. Same thing that Gavin Ortland did. Same thing Wes Huff does. These guys are dangerous. They're online cults. They're going to get people hurt. They're destroying lives. No examples. No proof. Where's your proof? Here's a soccer account with no followers that said legalize grape. Yeah, that could be anybody, dummy. That's not proving nothing. And none of that will hold up in court either, by the way. So I hope you do keep pushing this, see what happens.
Crashing and burning and now being a shell of itself. We've seen what happened to the flat earth movement, crashing and burning. Now it's
so again, guilt by association. This is the left. He's the does all the leftist tactics. Ortho bros are like the alt-right. Ortho bros are like flat earth, right? Associating us with all this nonsense online.
shell of himself.
How, by the way, how has the SPLC fake funded stuff worked out? It didn't work out very well, did it? That fell apart. Oh, okay. So, but you're going to do all the same Saul Alinsky style tactics of ortho bros is dangerous. Yo, they might hurt somebody. They're going to, something bad's coming. I don't know what it is, but something dark is coming.
There's an inevitable end to this sort of stuff. And it's just, it's sad that it had to come to this.
So again, notice he is seething. He can't stop making videos about this because it's actually dipping into his market share, right? Ruslan's numbers are worse than mine. He's trying to talk about like he's winning this battle online. Like this is all facade. It's like when the communist government's collapsing and they're still broadcasting that the dear leader is divine, right? Like Tokyo Rose broadcast or whatever. Like they've already lost the war, and like the Tokyo Rose broadcast is like, American soldier, you have lost entire battle. Surrender now. We are taking over your city. Tokyo Rose, right? And they've already lost, right? This is what he's doing here, which is proclaiming victory when he's beginning to collapse. It's cracking for him.